how can we avoid that presentation paralysis and actually finish our presentations, report, thesis, papers, protocols on time? I want to address this topic because I have noticed something that STEM professionals typically do, and that is leaving it until the last moment and then being overwhelmed by the amount of information they actually have to convey and streamline, so to basically make their work at least understandable to others. And this happens because our work, specifically STEM work, I believe, accumulates and gets very, very convoluted very quickly. So you start, the typical decision, no, I'm going to document my code and everything is going to be very, very, very clean and everything is going to be perfect. And then at some point you find a bug and then you sort of trying to fix it, and then you see an error in your model and then you fix it and so on, and all of a sudden you are left with this huge big mess that you sort of are able to move around because at the end of the day you created the mess. But when it's time to explain that bunch of mess to other people, that's where it gets complicated. Why is it so? Well, first of all, because it's very, very complicated to decide what's important and what isn't. And I feel that's actually the bottleneck that's stopping us from finishing our projects on time, for finishing our presentations on time. And when I say on time, I don't necessarily mean being prepared the morning of the conference, but that no one actually wants to be there staring at the blank slide at 2 a.m. and just hope everything gets done and you promising yourself you're never going to do it again, because you want to be ready beforehand. And I'm here to tell you that this can be done. Like you can sleep the night before your conference, I would say it that way. You can actually do the stuff before the very last deadline without the stress, without all of the stress spiral that you are in when you're staring at that blank screen and you don't know what to put where. And the reason this happens, the reason we sort of get into this, I would say, presentation trap, is because we try to do everything at once. We try to build the slides at the same time as we are deciding what to put where and which story to even tell from this bunch of mess that we have. Which is not invalid. I mean, I know how science works, I know how STEM work works. It's a bunch of mess that makes sense, but you need to sort of streamline it and structure it before you're actually going to vomit that data on other people. This is what we don't want, and we have all had these experiences at conferences where people just come and vomit data, and this is not how it's supposed to be, because your work is then not seen, it's not enjoyed, it's not valued by others, and it's not you are not here for that, right? You are here just not for survival mode. You're here to actually showcase your expertise, have nice conversations, and hopefully get funded, noticed, promoted, and whatever it is that you are aiming right now and in your career. So I was saying that the problem is doing those things at the same time. So the structuring and building the slides or writing the actual words in your document. However, the solution, what actually works and will save you so much time and so much energy, is to separate those two processes. Structure first, write later. And I know it might sound counterintuitive because many people say that, okay, but then I'm going to do it twice. But it's actually not the case, because that way, when you have the structure in place, when you already made all of those decisions, what goes where, who you're talking to, how do you want to structure all this bunch of mess and results that you have, when you do that, when it's time to actually sit down and write, sit down and build the slides, it's going to be much easier, because you're not going to be lost in space. You're not going to be lost in the woods, as I like to say it. You're actually going to know what to say in which slide, how deep to go with each thing, and you can use this structure as your guideline, as your Google Maps, as my clients like to call it when we build it together. So this is what works. And I want to suggest one exercise from this video. The next time that you have to prepare your talk or explain your work to someone, and you sort of get the sense that it's all a bunch of mess, and you will probably come to this in the situation where you will be staring at a blank slide at 2 a.m. just stop for a moment and do this exercise of structuring. Like, what is it that I want to tell those people? What is that one thing that they have to know about my work and my project? And just by asking yourself this super simple question, you're already going to be a huge step ahead, and it's going to save you a bunch of headaches, a bunch of time, and most importantly, a bunch of energy. Having said that, building that structure and being very fast when it comes to making decisions of what is important and what isn't so important for the purpose you're going to explain your work in, it's a skill. And as any skill, it requires practice. And as the more you train your brain to think in this way, the easier it will become for you to structure your work, explain your work, express yourself, and especially put it on paper or put it into some slides. If you are interested in training that muscle, in really making sure that you are never stressed again before any talk, before any presentation, before any pitch or career improvement meeting, or whatever it is that you are working on right now, I am going to leave a link down below where you can schedule a completely free introduction session with me where we can discuss those things specifically. Like, what is the current bottleneck? What is your number one struggle when it comes to explaining your work, expressing it, writing and presenting? If you're interested in this kind of help, as I said, I will leave a link down below where you can schedule a free intro call with me where we can discuss exactly that and see if we are a good fit to work together. So I hope that you found this video useful, and as always, see you in the next few days with another video. Bye bye.